Hey everybody. Oh, hold on. There you go. Now we have a date and time stamped. Perfect. I have been doing some work. There's our new water line right here. You may notice it's got a little bit of a slope to it because I should have raised that about 2 inches and would have cleared this just fine. It didn't, but that's okay. I cut out this pipe. What I thought was an elbow here turned out to be a T, so there's one going that way. That would have been the one that fed the water heater and the kitchen sink. So, yeah. Called the city, told them I need the water turned off. Haven't heard from them yet. Once we get that done, this valve can come out. And if I can't turn that whole thing 90 degrees, so I can run a new line over here, we'll break out that valve. I've got a couple of these threaded on one side, slip fit on the other. I've got a box of nipples. We'll put a nipple in there, we'll put this on it, and then we'll glue our piece, and then we're done. I've had to run to town 3 times to get parts because some of those were 3/4 when I thought they weren't. I had a couple of these that I thought were halves but were 3/4. It was not terrible. So water comes in, we shut all of it off here. Sink will come feed through here. Toilet's gonna feed right there. That just shuts off the outlet, the faucet. It'd be really nice to have this done so I haven't used this in like a month because it's just a mess. Right, Lucy? Yeah, that's coming right out here. So, when we're all done, we're all done. I did it a little backwards. I started here instead of from the inside, but I actually kind of think this makes more sense because this is a definite stop. You know, it doesn't go any farther than there. So we put it all together, threaded this onto the pipe, ran the pipe through the wall, screwed this together so it's threaded onto the pipe, and now the pipe's basically glued into the wall. And the only dicey part of this was pushing this elbow on. After that, cut, glue, cut, glue, cut, glue, cut, glue. And really didn't even need a tape measure for most of this. That was a leftover piece. That's new. That's a leftover piece. That's new. Leftover. New. New, 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 new. Leftover. New. I still have half a stick. So 10 feet. Plus probably, oh heck, I don't know. I've probably got 16, 17 feet of pipe left to go this far. Because I had a half a stick already, which is where this came from. And then I had a full stick, which is where that came from. Other thing we've done, this wall has been sealed. This wall, I've only done the joints for now. I'll come back and do a little rest later. But gotta get up there and do these. I couldn't because the toilet's right there, and I couldn't get down on the floor for the same reason. But I believe it was this joint here had a real bad gap in it, and so did this one, and I think this one. So the only one left that I can see that's got a gap in it is this one. So when this is done and I can move this stuff over, I'll get over there and finish doing that. I mean, really, the worst part of this was digging the hole. The next worst part will be filling in the hole. I even went and bought a can of foam because I was sure I was going to have a huge mess over here. Amazingly, we do not. I'm going to take some silicone and seal in the gap on the inside because, you know, why not? Ain't going to hurt nothing. Yeah, this is what's left of 1/2 of the stick. It's a 20-foot stick. I cut it into 10-foot things so I can fit it in my car. This is maybe 6.5 feet. 6 feet? Yeah, it's about 6 feet. So I've used 4 feet of the 20 that I bought so far. And that may not be quite long enough to go across the bathroom. If not, there's another 10-foot piece over there. And I know it's not 10 feet. So, yeah, we're golden. Just waiting for the water to get shut off. And I asked him when I left him the message this morning. I said, you know, because it's only going to take me a couple minutes. If y'all just want to show me where my shutoff is, I can turn it off and turn it back on when I'm done. I don't have to call and beg you guys again. That was a disaster. But there's a big gloop. Big gloopy glob. I was brushing this. I want to get it on my fingers. Okay. That'll do it. 2.5 coats pretty much on this wall. All of this, there's still a pint left in that gallon. So I might just go ahead and do another once over here. You see where it went on a little thicker compared to down here. And it's kind of high on the VOC count, so had to dig that guy out so I could breathe. Yeah, it's progress. I'll be glad when it's done and we can get on with our lives. Had the outlet that we put in last time hooked up so I could drill the hole through the wall there. It was great. So that's what I got. I know these have been coming kind of slow and in spurts lately, and I apologize for that. We're just kind of, we're in the hurry up and wait phase, and I'm trying to get some other things kind of taken care of while I've got downtime out here, paying off some debt and all that kind of stuff. So I haven't dropped a whole ton of money on this project this year. I bought some tools, did a couple little things that I could do. What am I trying to say? A couple of little projects that I could do while we're waiting for the bigger stuff to kind of start happening. Band's been busy, gigs been busy, work's been busy. Heck, the band has a gig tomorrow, like way out in the middle of nowhere. It's like a 2-hour drive. I'd be lying if I said I was looking forward to it. I'm kind of not. That's all right. Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're waiting for. Get that turned one way or the other. Either out and elbow, which I didn't want to do, or, you know, we'll just turn it, not have the elbow. I should mention, as soon as the saw touched that pipe where the hole was, the whole thing just disintegrated. It's just gone. So, anyway, if I was real ambitious, I'd just get down there and try and clean that out of this gate valve. But I don't like that valve, and I don't like it there. That's what that one's gonna do. So I don't even want to mess with it. Like, all I would do is I'd clean the threads out from where the broken pipe was, which likely not gonna happen given where it's at. I put one of these threaded, coming right out of that, and I would just leave that open. The problem with leaving this open all the time, though, is there's a potential leak in that valve stem. There's a gasket in there and packing. You know, let's just remove. Let's just remove a place where leaks could happen, I say. Anyway, I think it's lunchtime, so I'm going to go and have some lunch. I've been keeping this a little warmer than I like it, just because it's been so hot lately. I don't want the air conditioning running all the time. Oh, so let's talk about cost. Cost of running this thing as an air conditioner. So, utilities on the house, about $150 a month. That's electric, water, garbage, and sewer. I use very little. There's a flat rate, and then there's the consumption. Rarely do I peak in the consumption. When we had this guy running in the wintertime to keep this thing warm, I think the bill went up to 180, 190. It was about 30, 40 bucks a month to run that thing as a heater. Got the bill for June, Monday, Tuesday, one of those days, and it was 160. Now that is running an air conditioner in the house, a window unit, that's having this thing kind of at the 72, 73 degree thing running. And because my low pressure irrigation, which is that little box right there, and there's a box over there, and there's a box over there that doesn't work anymore, because I don't use those, I do all my watering off the spigot on the house. That's why we're putting the faucet on this thing. So running a lot more water, running a little more electricity, sewer's the same, garbage is the same. My bill for June, and we used more, obviously, this June than last June, because we've got, you know, 2 different air conditioners and all that. It was $10 more, like $15. I want to say the average per month throughout the year for the utilities on this place has been $148 or something like that. So I just pay $150 every month because that's a nice round even number. I got my bill for the last month and it was $161 and change. But because I pay the $150 every month, hell or high water, if it's $165, I pay $150, because all the months where it's not $150, I build up a little credit. You see what I'm saying? I like doing it that way because it means eventually I can skip a month. There's been times where I haven't paid my utility bill for like 3 months because I've built up a big enough credit. Not 3 months, you know, April, May, June, but I don't have to do it this October, so I'm not going to do it. That kind of stuff. Anyway, that's all I can do for now. Got to wait for the water department fellers. If I don't hear from them by, I don't know, 1 or 1:30, I'm going to call them again. Because that's, I mean, once that's done, we can start thinking about cement. But for now, I'm thinking about lunch. Should probably check the mail too. Anyway, see y'all later. Good news, bad news, friends. There you go. Came by, turned off the water, cut the valve out, put the new thing on. And the hole starts filling up with water. Over here. There's not supposed to be water over there. Not in the hole anyway. So we shut the water back off, and I've been digging. And I don't know if you can see it. Can I zoom in? Fingers too dirty to zoom in. There we go. The hole. That's no good. Wounded animal that large? That's not good. So, likely, when I was wiggling it, I put a little strain on it and broke it, or cracked it anyway. Here's the problem. We got a couple of them. Are they horrendous? Can't fix them? Absolutely horrible? No. Is it a pain in the neck? Yes. So if I put a wrench up here and I try and unscrew this, likely it's going to break right there. Likely. That is the weak spot. At least the weak spot I can see. Other problem, I don't know how much farther down that goes. So what we're going to need to do is we got to dig this all the way down to where it ties into the water main, the main line running to the house. And we're going to have to replace this piece, which I'm okay with that. I don't mind doing it. It's just, I didn't cut a hole big enough for this job. So, I'm going to do some more digging. Keep an eye out for bugs. There was a couple beetles came crawling out of there when the hole filled up with water. That's nice. Yeah. I'm going to start working on that, I guess. Okay. That ain't great, is it? So, I don't understand this, but it comes this way, elbows, and then comes up. I don't know where that other one goes. If I had to venture a guess, it's probably outside, and then they ran the pipe over, and then they poured the concrete for the room. Be my guess. But this again, water comes this way, up, and then went back, instead of just coming up, you know, and doing this wall and coming around that way. It's really stupid. And the other stupid thing, there's the hole. I don't think I did that, looking at it. I don't think I did that. It almost looks like it goes all the way through in some spots. I don't think it does. I think that's just water. But, a stupid thing. You see this little section right here where it's a little thinner? A little more cleaned up? This is leaked before. And instead of replacing the pipe, they patched it. That's why there's no corrosion. No rust, none of that crap on it. So instead of fixing it properly, they just patched it. I don't know how, because this floor hasn't been torn up before. But that's what that is. That's why there's nothing on that spot. There wasn't any, you know, the material couldn't get to the metal. So this is good news, bad news, kind of, sort of. I would love to be able to unscrew that from that elbow. Because then I can put one of these in it. Come up. Put that right there, and we're golden. But I am having a heck of a time. I'm going to have to dig the hole farther this way. I've already filled 3 5-gallon buckets full of dirt, and that one's about half full now. The other option is I go down and I cut the pipe that's running this way. I cut it on this side of the elbow, and then I thread it. I'm hesitant to do that because threading puts a lot of stress on that pipe. It puts a lot of twisting pressure on a pipe. And if that pipe is bad, it could break, and then I have to dig this whole thing up. Figure out what the hell's going on. So, as much as I don't like doing it, what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to have to dig this hole out a little bit, or get the jigsaw. Because when I cut that, I cut it at an angle, because that's what I had to do to get the saw on it. Cut it at that angle there. I want to cut it straight, when there's a rubber gasket, it's a rubber coupler, it's got a clamp on each side. You slide that over, you clamp it, you put your new pipe in, you clamp it. I don't like using those, especially in a situation like this. But without, tearing up more of the floor, and we're on a small bit of a time crunch, I think that's what we're going to do. So, I'm going to pack up, head to the hardware store, see what I can find. We will return. So, didn't go as planned, which I half kind of went as planned. And I'll tell you why I say that. And I say that because as I was on my way over there, I thought, I've never seen those little couplers that small. I usually see them an inch or bigger. So I got there and they had 1.25 inches. That was the smallest they had. So obviously didn't work doing it that way. And I thought I had one. Yeah, one of these. 1/2 inch is what I wanted. And once I said that, like I said, I got on the way. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. So we're trying something different. I mean, it's not different, but it's not something I've done transitioning materials, but we're going to try it. What I've picked up instead, and if you watch the Boneyard videos, you'll know how much I love these things. So they had one PVC and one galvanized in 1/2 inch, and that was it. And the reason I'm hesitant is because we're transitioning materials. We're coming from metal to plastic. I don't usually do that with these. It's usually metal each side or plastic each side. So I'm not 100% sure which one I want to use here. I feel like that one's not going to grab the PVC as well as this one will. This one should grab the metal fine, but we're going to have to clean off a fairly big swath of the metal. Another benefit to using these over those other ones is I'm not going to have to get down there and cut that thing straight. And how these work, I don't know if we've talked about them. Probably not in any of these videos. Each end has one of these. It's a nut with a gasket in it. And that gasket sits inside here. And your pipe sits inside there. Inside that gasket, you tighten that nut, and it compresses that gasket around the pipe, and then the water comes out. One nice thing about these is you've got all of this wiggle room inside. And ideally, we'll want to get the pipe that's sticking out of the ground there to about the middle of this. And then our other pipe on the other side comes to about the middle. Is it necessary? No. Does it work better? Yes. The metal one is exactly the same process. This one's a lot shorter, so less of the connection happens inside the barrel of this thing. It also has a washer to help put extra pressure on that gasket. And the gasket is generally a little bit tighter on the metal ones, I have noticed. I worry that this could potentially deform this. This shouldn't, but I worry that it's not going to get a good enough grip on the galvanized. So, we're going to try this one first. See how we do. I'm going to have to get in there with some sandpaper or something and clean that off a couple of inches down, because that pipe's got to fit inside that gasket. And with all that crap that's on it right now, I don't think that's going to happen. So, I could get that in there and do a little bit, but I don't think that's what I want to do. And I think my sandpaper's in there. Great. Great. Well, I'm out of elbows, and they were out of elbows, so we had to get a little creative. The plastic union, I couldn't get the pipe cleaned up enough to get the plastic one on, so the metal one's on. Metal one's missing a gasket. I think it's okay. It's in there. I put a little water on it. Nothing ran into the pipe, so I realized that's not under pressure. Called the water guy back. We're going to give it a shot. That is open. That is open. Aerators inside the house have been taken off the faucets. That's important to do. Let's go. Make sure this is open. And we'll just wait for him. I hate doing it. 10 after 5 on a Friday. I'm the jerk, but I mean, nobody called me back, so what do you do? What do you do? So what worries me is it goes down and then comes back over this way. And it's the pipe at the bottom of the hole that's running this way that worries me a little bit. If this vertical pipe, the metal down there starts leaking again, I don't know for sure how I'm going to deal with that. I'm going to have to dig the hole bigger in at least 2 directions so I can get a wrench on it and undo it. But I'm afraid I might break that piece. Here's the thing that I want you to know if you're doing any kind of stuff like this. If you are doing a tall vertical pipe like this, put shorter segments in, couple them together. Because the way this is in there now, like I said, I couldn't loosen it at the top without wrenching it so hard at the bottom it was going to break. But if they would have done that in thirds, like 3 segments with a union in, or a coupler in each one, I could have taken one off and then one off and then one off. It just makes it more rigid, which I think works a heck of a lot better. So we'll wait and see. See that? That's water. You know that thin part of the pipe where I told you it had been worked on once before? This is just gone. That's just a hole all the way across. So we'll take our union apart. We'll pull the PVC out, set it somewhere over here out of the way, and I'm just gonna have to go all the way down to that elbow. That's really my only option at this point. And that sucks, ladies and gentlemen, because it is going to be a pain in the ass to get a wrench down there. And I don't really even want to wrench it because I don't want to break the pipe that's running this way. So there's a band that you can put on that to fix it. It's like a C shape, and it's aluminum and it's rubber. It's got a rubber sleeve on the middle and then some screws, and you screw it and then it squeezes and wraps around the pipe. But the guy's like, "Oh, I got some." And he brought it in and he says, "Oh, that's not 3/4, is it?" And I said, "No, it's not. No, it's not." So that doesn't work for us. And besides, that's a Band-Aid. Just like that little union thing's a Band-Aid as far as I'm concerned. So I hate calling the dude because it's after 5 on a Friday. So as of now, we got no water here at the homestead. Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. I don't like it. It sucks. So we're going to have to do, like I said, we'll take it apart. We'll try and get that vertical bit of galvanized out. I'll need another coupler, or it's got the bell. Come with me a second. Come with me a second. Fingers crossed. Damn it. I was hoping that short piece that had the bell was the leftovers, but it was from this long piece. If it still had the bell, I wouldn't need another coupler. And I don't have a coupler in my drawer, I don't think. It's threaded on both ends. I don't want that. That's just pipe. Oh, there's one. All right. Okay. So we'll take the galvanized out. We'll put a male adapter that's going into the elbow so we can screw that down. Glue this to the top. The piece we've taken out of that union, we'll get this on the end, and then we can glue them together. Then we should be good. And somebody's out there, we should just use copper. You know, I'm not going to bury copper. That's an even worse idea. Okay. Let's start disassembling. All that jazz. Well, where'd my flashlight go? There it is. This is why. This is why I don't like it. So my new patch is fine. Ain't leaking at all. See, there's water in the hole because now the pipe that's running this way is leaking. So the best thing to do is going to be to cut another chunk of floor out. This side would be ideal because it's not in the doorway, but it's got the drain for the toilet. So we're going to have to cut over here and then down that way, get a bigger hole so I can get down there and actually do some work, which means I've got a shit ton of dirt I need to move. And the odds are, the farther I go with this, the worse it's going to get. So it is 6 o'clock. It is Friday. The water dudes, you know, they're on call 24/7. But I told them, like, look, man, if it doesn't work tonight, if this last one doesn't do it, I ain't calling you till tomorrow. And here's the son of a bitchin' thing tomorrow. I've got that gig way the hell out of town. We're leaving at like 1 o'clock. So I don't have a whole lot of time in the morning to be working on this. And I don't want to spend a whole lot of time tonight working on this because I gotta go play tomorrow. Sunday is gonna be a recuperation day. And then Monday, I've gotta get up early and go to the doctor for my hand. So, you got no water at the house. Not loving it. I'm disheartened, ladies and gentlemen, and my phone's almost dead. So what I think I'm going to do, we got to get this piece of PVC out of there. That's going to be in the way no matter what. So crawl back down there, take that union apart. I'm just going to cut this right there in the middle somewhere, pull it apart. I mean, I need to get it out of the hole. That's going to be the best way to do it. The hole needs to be wider because I can't get both of my arms in it. This sucks, man. This sucks. All right, I'm gonna keep on keeping on. I'll fill you guys in later.
It's better than nothing, but it's, you know, there's a lot of room.
It's still the 5th.
Uh,
Jeff's tearing down a chimney.
Thanks for streaming today. This is a great way to start today.
I've got the hole slightly more excavated.
That's amazing.
I went and grabbed a light. All the heat coming out of that window. Jesus. So, I thought this went all the way over. It doesn't. It comes like a foot and then goes back down. And I don't know how far down it goes. Our break is in this little piece here. Why they just didn't come straight up? I think it was so they could put the shutoff way over here. But just come straight up and over and put the shutoff over here like we did. I don't know. My wheelbarrow, I filled it so full of dirt that I think I broke it.
Attaching our roof lines to our masonry. It's kind of embarrassing, to be honest with you.
Sorry, Jeff. I'm out of beer. Today, I just could not get any more fun, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God, it's wonderful. So now we have to reevaluate again. I really don't want to make this hole any bigger, but I really need to get down there. But for me to get down there, I'm going to have to cut this at least to here. You know, like 2 more feet, and then about 3 feet. So I'm going to have to take out a chunk bigger than that. Because ladies and gentlemen, svelte, average, extra large, your old pal Jason somewhere in between the two. But like my monkey arms, like if I lay down in the dirt and reach down there, I can almost reach the union, the bottom of the union, to take it apart and put it back together. My freaking gorilla orangutan arms can't do that. That's why I gotta get down there. And it would be great if I could take this horizontal piece out, take that elbow off, and just come straight up and over. That'd be wonderful. I gotta make the hole bigger if I'm gonna do that. And if I'm gonna make the hole bigger, I gotta take this tile off so the adhesive on the tile doesn't gum up my saw. The saw that I just about damn near burned up doing this hole. That's why that saw's been sitting there, because I was sure I burned up the old one. And if I cut this, and cut this, and then come back over and cut this, getting in and out's going to be a pain. We're going to run into this pipe. I'm going to have to go rent that jackhammer again. Which, that's not a big deal. I don't care about doing that. That's just... time. Time is my enemy right now. I need to get this done enough, patched up so it's leak-free, so I can turn on the water tomorrow, so we have water Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because right now, I'm a day and a half past due for a shower as it is. I'm not quite, like, stink line yet, but I'm getting close. So I just don't know, man. I just don't know. It would be nice to just get down there and work it and get it done. I could cut this and then try and spin that elbow, but I can't do it from up here. I can't get any leverage, so I gotta get down there. And who's to say that working on that doesn't cause it to break somewhere else? You know, I hate metal pipe. I hate it. I hate that it exists. I hate that you bury it. And I hate that, like, okay. One good thing about this whole project is I'm finding these problems now, right? There could come a time where we come out one day and we'll look at things like, oh my God, why is there water everywhere? Where is it coming from? And then you don't know and you can't find it. You gotta go on an expedition. There's another issue. That pipe is so set, so fixed in there, you can't unscrew it. You just squish it. And this is 1/2 inch. You see how thin some of those walls are on that pipe? It's just eating away to nothing. Not saying PVC or PEX are great, but they don't do this. There was another little chunk that I cut out and I don't remember where it went. Must have thrown it away. But it had a hole in it. I may have to take another day off if this doesn't go as well as I'm expecting it to. I've got the time. I don't want to do it, but I've got the time. Where'd my shovel go? Here's my shovel. Okay. So this shovel that comes up to my armpit right there. I could use it as a crutch. There's the bottom of the hole. That's the rib cage. I feel like this is deeper than it needs to be. Because, yeah, I mean, we're 40 inches. So that water line, that main, is probably 48 inches. It's probably 4 feet down, which is excessive. Our frost line is maybe 8 inches at the worst. Like our worst winter ever. This could be down, a foot, 2 feet. 2 feet would be perfect. That's how deep I dug the trench to run the power out here. 2 feet. That's excessive. And I think, that doesn't even make a hell of a lot of sense. I was going to say they dug it so deep so they could get it in through the floor of the basement, but they didn't have to. They could have just gone straight through. This does not fill me with joy for when it's time to start working on the water main that goes to the house. Jesus Christ. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm sore. I'm not looking forward to the gig tomorrow. I'm running out of tea. And every time I do a thing, something else happens. I don't even want my licorice. I'm disappointed. I'm looking at that whiskey. That's not Talisker. It's from my infinity bottle. But there's some Talisker in it. That's not the Talisker I wanted. I wanted Storm, but I couldn't find Storm. Talisker Storm is really good. Okay. We have to be responsible. Out of sight, out of mind.